So this is what happens when you remove a 40-year-old gas tank from a Japanese KEI van like that. Check it out. Wow. Get a load of this, guys. This clamp wasn't completely on, probably from a previous attempt to remove. This is not easy to remove. Lots of lines, and they don't give you any slack. I thought they would have given you enough slack to drop the tank, but they don't. You got to disconnect everything prior to dropping the tank. And there's lots of lines. You got a fuel level send. You have a fuel pump. You have this cool looking air something assembly. But as you can see, it does need a good cleanup, at least on the outside. But let's see what happens when we open it up. All these lines, look at this old line, just like that, cracked. So imagine this will paralyze you from driving. That'll completely leave you stalled out on the road. Look at this right here. Just from removing it, all the lines are cracking. So this definitely was deserved. Now we're going to open it up. Let's take a look inside, see how bad it is inside. Okay, so this is what we find. Someone has already been inside here and has made a homemade filter for it using steel wool. Doesn't look too bad. I mean, it looks terrible, but I mean, functionality wise, maybe it could be a short term. This looks like a lot of corrosion and wear in this area too. I'm not sure if that's original or if there's some RTV added later. I can clean up most of it, but I'm just gonna get a new. I think this stuff is just, look, it's breaking off all over the place. So just imagine that going into your fuel system. Good Lord, good Lord, good Lord. Definitely gonna get rid of this thing and see if I can find, I guess, a replacement for either. No, you just replace this thing. It's such a hassle getting into here. It's a full day of work, and I'm just replacing all the lines. Hopefully I can get a new fuel pump, and let's see what happens with. Here's the sender. Let's look at the sender. Well, I know the sender still works because the fuel gauge works, but I guess things like that, you'll just replace them. They don't look too expensive. The one scary thing though is getting cheap aftermarket parts that won't even last long. Hopefully I can get a good quality replacement. All right, let's look at the inside of these tanks too. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Does that look like water in there? Okay, here's everything put back together. This is the fuel tank, and I replaced all the hoses fresh and cleaned everything out inside and out. I reassembled the fuel pump and the sender. This is the original sender. I tested it. It works good. This is not the original. I went and got another used but in better condition fuel pump. The original one was only pushing 35 psi at 1.7 amps. This is pushing 45 psi at 2 amps. So this is a We put a better, and it was also missing a filter, and so we got that in there, and we gave it some paint. I put nuts and bolts inside here and shook it up, and I put vinegar overnight, and then I put it in, I rinsed it real good with water, and then I rinsed it with alcohol, and then I rinsed it with gasoline, and then I air pressured it, and I got it as clean as I could. You know, it's not perfect. Like inside you can still see a little crimson, but it's definitely like 65% better. There might be some kind of like oxide dust in there, but we're gonna reassemble it now. We're gonna offer it up to the Suzuki. Let me show you guys what I did underneath here. I took the liberty to clean up inside here. I painted everything with 2-part epoxy paint, and I just feel good about that. You know, like, even though this is something that no one will ever see, you know, it's the pride of ownership that I know it's all clean. Like, and I really cleaned it as well as I could with soap and water and vinegar and brushes and scrapers, and now I'm reassembling everything nice and clean, and it has that new feeling. You know, when you know, it's like a new part. Even though it's the original part, it feels like it's a new part. And I feel like when you reassemble things clean and repainted, it just, you know, it feels better, and it is better. So I'm glad to have painted in here. And I also took the I put some of that 2-part epoxy paint in an air spray gun, and I sprayed all the lines, you know, just to make sure this thing is battle proof, you know, that we're going to be able to use this thing for a long time. And talk a second about the importance of good fuel. I know from experience in the marine environment that I would say easily more than half of the times when people are having engine problems, more than half the times, it is the fuel tank and the fuel lines, and it's bad fuel getting to the engine. That is such an overlooked part of all motor engineering, that the fuel delivery's got to be good. The whole circuit's got to be good. It's the first and the last place that you troubleshoot. And putting this tank back in clean and inside and out, that I know, that gives me the assurance that I know I got good fuel delivery, got a freshly rebuilt engine. I'm going to reassemble everything together, and not only is this going to make the initial break-in process smoother, but also the longevity of owning this vehicle is going to be in balance, and I know I'm going to get years of consistent performance from this vehicle. That's what I want. That's why I'm putting my time in now and making the investment of my time. And I think that's really what Beach Garage is all about. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you're ever out here in Southeast Asia, give me a ring. You're welcome to come over, and I'll show you guys about the KEI trucks and the sailboats, and in this beautiful place we call Southeast Asia Archipelago. Cheers, Shaka, one love, keep it real, over and out, peace, bye.